Broad Street.
But also talk about, again, your budding relationship at this point with Bobby Orr, which I think is a fantastic story. So get to your first goal, your first real experience, and then your Bobby Orr relationship.
Well, I met Bobby Orr in 1965 in training camp in London, Ontario. That's where Boston had their training camp. So I was introduced to him. I says, how the hell can he be a hockey player? Well, he's only about 135 or 40 pounds. And I said, I can't believe this. So anyway, so we have camp and everything else, and we break camp, and I go back to Minneapolis, and he goes to Oshawa. That was his junior A team at the time, playing for Oshawa Generals. And in a way, he bought a rowing machine, Corey. He bought a rowing machine. He rowed for about 4 or 5 months on a rowing machine for about 2 hours a day. He said not every day, but every other day. And when I met him in training camp in 1966, he was 190 pounds.
What?
He put on 55 pounds of muscle.
Oh,
I couldn't believe he was the same guy. I couldn't believe he was the same guy.
Wow.
And he was so muscular. Orr was so muscular and everything else. And you ever watch hockey players, their hands are up here, Corey, to stick handle.
Right.
And their hands are down here to pass.
Right.
And your hands are down here to shoot. Well, Orr always had his hands in the stick handling or the passing position. So you never know if he's going to shoot or pass. So he confused a lot of goalies by his position of his hands.
Wow.
Goalies would look to see where the hands are on the stick. He said, oh, that means he's going to pass. He's not going to shoot. Well, lo and behold, he would shoot the puck from that position there, his hands. He was so strong in his forearms that he could just rifle the puck. It was incredible how, for an 18-year-old kid, what he could do. And he was the best player in the league at the time. My God, there was other great players in the league, but at the time, he was the best player that came along. And there was, to me, he was as good a player there ever was in the National Hockey League. I know there's a lot of great players now, which they are really good and everything else, but Orr revolutionized the game of defense for a hockey player.
Yeah, was that very innovative, Joe, that he decided to make sure he could disguise his hands? Was everybody not doing it at that time? Was he really the first person?
No, guys didn't do, because they weren't strong enough in their forearms and your hands. You have to be strong to do something like that. Okay. But he was so powerful in his hands and his wrists and his forearms. You know, he was a very muscular guy. I mean, and he could just let her rip, man. Oh my God. That's why he got so many goals. And he won the scoring 2 different times in his career in the National Hockey League as a defenseman.
Okay. All right.
Which is unheard of. You know?
Well, I have very strong forearms, Joe. But that's a whole different story for another show that we won't do today. But that's a whole different thing, Joe. So now let me get to, and that's great. That is really fantastic because I know you spoke very well of Bobby, who really seemed to take a shine to you as well, as much as you did to him.
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions.